And we're live.
So, here we are. Slightly late as always. Always a little bit late. I don't know why. I think it was because Kerry was putting her mascara on.
Gotta look good for the camera.
So we've got some exciting things to show you. Obviously I'm just back from the shows, assisting probably the greatest hairdressers that the world have, and quite inspired by quite a lot of different things at the moment, and I wanted to share that inspiration with you. The shows that we've worked on are spring summer 2018, so they won't be a trend until next year. And it's an interesting word, that, and it's an interesting topic which we'll touch on a bit later. But what I wanted to show you was something or some things that maybe can get your juices going for the weekend. Who knows? We might see some princesses about. What do you think? Now I've got some questions that we've collated for a wee while. About the shows, because I think there's maybe a slight misunderstanding about what the shows actually mean. And I know that Katie Diet, who is working in the background, has got those questions from all you viewers. So we're going to talk about them. But before we do that, I'm going to show you Charlotte's hair, and the reason I wanted you to see Charlotte's hair is because this look was created by the amazing and gorgeous Samantha Hillerby for Jasper Conran last Saturday morning in London, and the look was slightly 90s inspired, and the feeling was all about CK1, or the inspiration for CK1 back in the 90s when Kate Moss kind of ruled the world, and well, she still does, but when she was the kind of kingpin, and that whole sort of street hair culture, being independent, being individual was a real key thing. And that's one of the things that when I talked to Samantha at the show, she felt was really relevant, because that this hair is very unique to the individual. It's not about a genre or a style of hair that is going to be all long or all short or all curly or all. It's about keeping it completely unique. And what was really cool about it is there was half of the girls in the show had short haircuts, and the other half had longer hair. So it was really quite individual. And Samantha's view was that, you know, we've all got our individual texture within the hair, and even with Charlotte's hair here, you can see that she's kind of got this slightly textured, sort of scruffy feel to it, and all we've really done is amplified what she's already got, and kept it, like I say, really quite current and slightly limp and dishevelled. So it's not a lot of effort. It's about the beauty of the individual, and about creating the texture and the dryness in the hair. And it wasn't fluffy and it wasn't dewy. It kind of sat in between the two. And I have to say, it was an amazing show to work on. There was a lot of, like I say, haircuts, and they were dried with the diffuser, very effortless and quite flat, and it was just really young and cool and new, a word I don't really hear that much of, but it was very inspiring. And all I'm using here is a little bit of matte texture spray, which is a dry spray, and it's not a hairspray as such. It allows us to put texture into the hair, but for the hair to still have grit and grit. And one of the concepts that Samantha wanted to achieve was this quite graphic hairline, where the hair was quite narrow and it was around the face, and you can actually see how most of the roots here at the top are actually coming forward. You know, they're not being pulled and separated, so the texture is very much about framing the face. There's no real rigid parting, it's all quite loose and relaxed, and I just think it's a really cool, current
It's a lovely, effortless, everyday look, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And this is what Charlotte's hair is like. So, to recap, individuality, being unique with your own independent hairstyles and being unique with your own individual texture. Now, on the girls with curly hair, we just pulled them straight with our fingers. We didn't use a brush on anything. It was all very hand-driven, and that really is something that Samantha excels at. Yeah, it was a stunning show, and the clothing was lots of browns and taupes and reds, and a lot of parachute material, which was very consistent on the runway with a lot of the designers. So let me just can we just get Charlotte to stand up a minute and come and stand here against this white wall so we can see you. Now she's got a wee number on, just to sort of for us to see her. Now if we see there, Kerry, can you just see all that kind of fluffiness?
Yeah.
I'm in love with her freckles. Freckles. How old are you, Charlotte?
14.
14. 1 year older than me.
Maybe I'd.
15? You said I was 15.
I didn't. I said
16?
I said maybe
17.
I'd. 20 months.
Sorry, I've got something on my head. But no, it's cool, and it's got that sort of very effortless image, and it's all really, less is more.
Such an achievable look every day for most people, isn't it?
Absolutely. Even for you, Kerry Bell.
Let's not be cheeky.
Maybe on you to wash it first. What do we think, guys? What do you think, Kerry?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
Love it. Okay. So now we've got some questions. Why don't you have a little seat, Charlotte, so you don't feel like as if you're standing there at a disco dance. And the questions are from you, and I really appreciate them. And I think I'm going to be asked them now, aren't I, Katie? What's the first one? Why don't you come over here, please? Katie Diet, Facebook Live. Hello. Facebook Live, Katie Diet. And yet, no, she's not been running. She's constantly got red cheeks. So what are they, please?
Because you embarrass me.
Do I? Right, okay, go ahead.
So what do you do at London Fashion Week exactly?
What do I do at London Fashion Week? Well, I am an assistant to the lead hairdressers. So I really go back to my basics, and like we have assistants here in the salon, we at the shows we rely on assistants to do all the models. So we go all the way back to the beginning, and we assist the main hairdresser, and we do whatever they ask us to do without any rules.
Great. So how many hairdressers would you be working with?
Depending, there was one of the shows I assisted at this London Fashion Week. There was 35 hairdressers. Well, there's a lot of us. It all depends on the number of models that is needed for the show. But like I say, I'm just one of the junior team members. I'm an assistant.
It's been a long time since you've been called a junior.
I'm the assistant to the legends that are the best hairdressers in the world. The likes of Samantha Hillerby, Sam Knight, the legend, and other kings and queens that I'm not going to talk about. Does that answer that question?
Yes, it does.
Good. What's the next one?
Do you get to meet some of the designers?
It's not our job really, because our job's here. But on occasions you do cross paths with them. Depends if you do the hair test where the look is created, then you get to obviously talk and speak to the designer. But really your job is, remember, as an assistant to the lead hairdresser. So you speak when you're spoken to. So decorum and tact, two words that you don't really know about, Kerry Bell.
Because I'm from Annan.
Is something you have to exercise all the time.
So how many models are you how many models are you working on?
Show to show it depends. Like for example, at Jasper Conran there was 25 girls. At Ryan Lowe there was 30, and at Burberry there was 90.
And then do you get ahead yourself?
It's very much a team game.
Okay.
So there is no individuals. We are there to support each other. and it's much faster doubling up. Because 4 hands are better than one. 2 hands are better than, you know what I mean. 2's better than 1.
So how many? What's the most hands per head?
Oh, sometimes you can have 3 people on one head.
Well, that'd be an interesting night.
Yeah.
Can you just keep it clean, please? Because Charlotte's only 14. That's not nice.
We're keeping it PG-13.
Anyway, listen. If the models come with 5 minutes to go, which they do quite occasionally, then basically it's as many hands on the head as physically possible. So sometimes 4 hairdressers, 2 nail technicians, 4 makeup artists with the chair turned around the wrong way. Yeah, no, it can be hectic. But on a normal model, it is 2.
We have a viewer question.
Oh, go ahead.
Kerry's filming capabilities are underrated.
Pardon?
And what is your favourite wind? That was actually a viewer's question. But also, what is your favourite Windle and MIDI product?
At the moment?
At the moment.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Or one that you
Well, I did, but at the moment I would say my favourite is matte paste on wet hair. So it's actually a styling product for grooming, but it's a really cool paste, and if you put it onto wet hair and let it dry naturally, it gives this satin finish to the hair. So it's like it's got a silkiness but a flexibility. So that's my favourite at the moment, followed very closely by, I'll show you what it looks like. This is matte texture paste, or matte paste. That's what I use. Also,
Isn't that for gents though?
no, these products are unisex. It's a very big word this season because unisex is really a big, an emerging fashion story. You notice I didn't use the T word.
Yeah. The T word being
Trend.
Oh. Why aren't you using the T word?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I've got the absolute luxury of listening to some of it and working with the biggest hairdressers in the world. And as a hairdresser, sometimes the word trend is used so often that actually I become quite sick of it. And the reason really is that guys, nothing is a trend until it becomes fashionable. So if something isn't fashionable, then it's not a trend. It's a look that could be a trend.
So talk us through that a little bit more. That can be quite bamboozling.
Yeah, no, I mean, if everyone thinks, oh my god, fashion is so expensive because it's so expensive, we're never going to be able to afford them. It is so much about the detail, it's about the collection, it's about the way it's exposed, it's about the decade, the youthfulness, the energy, and also it's about manufacturing a look that's unique to that designer. So a trend is only a trend when it becomes fashionable.
So how long roughly does it take for the ideas that you see on the runway to rotate through to the high street?
Well, remember we're working 6 months in advance. The buyers are there at the front row looking to buy the collections. So it takes 3 months for things to filter through, approximately. I mean, I'm no lead hairdresser, but I have been assisting on shows for 16 years, so I kind of have learned a little bit along the way. And I've been so privileged and honoured to still be doing it at this level. I'm bringing it back to Dumfries and working on the beautiful Charlotte. Look, who's just got the most amazing hair in the world. Look, it's so cool and flat and graphic, I love it.
So,
question.
We've got a major fan here, Jenny College. Hi Nelson, I'm at the swimming pool, so can't hear you. Lip reading is tricky.
I hope you can swim. What's the next question?
So, obviously, you're very excited to be back.
I am. It's been quite a full-on week, to be honest. I think Tuesday has become Friday. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so what have you been most excited about at the show? What excited you most?
Do you know, actually, it's a strange one this, because I love the Fashion Week family that I've met. They really do bring you into the fold. It's a very interesting industry because it's quite cloaked, and sometimes it can be hard to break through, but the people that I've met recently have really made me feel welcome, and I love hooking up with them. There's a real team spirit where everybody would help each other, and that's something that I really want to try and recreate in the salon environment.
We've got another viewer question.
Yep.
Our lovely Holly, who is in salon today blogging, her friend Leah says no one can do her hair properly. She has really tight curls. And what is your advice in styling them to make them bigger?
Well, that's an interesting question, because today we had a beautiful lady in with naturally Afro-Caribbean hair, which we specialise in here. Not relaxing, but we are able to cut it and deal with it in a really normal way. And she came in with this head full of hedge, and she left with individual, shiny, manageable curls that made her feel amazing and unique. So it's all about moisture when you're working with curls, Kerry. And moisture comes from certain products like our Smooth and Shine oil, which is this bad boy, not an apple, this one. And I team that up with curl enhancer just to give it extra power.
Are you ready for another question?
I've got another one here, I think.
Yes, Holly will show you Leah's hair so you can...
Amazing. We'll look forward to seeing
more.
Leah very soon. Next question from the viewers, Katie.
So, you don't like the T word?
Well, it's not that I don't like the T word. I think trends is excuse me for using this as a simile, but it's very much a hairdresser word.
Okay.
And when things are overused, they become diluted. And when things are diluted, you lose its pureness. And unfortunately, when everything becomes trendy, it's not actually what it means, and it's used in a way that isn't used correctly, I'm afraid.
So I have a question regarding trends.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the new and exciting trends will be? Well, you know, what have you noticed?
Well, what have...
Is there anything you have noticed?
Yeah.
Come back to your mind?
Absolutely.
What was that?
It's the haircuts are back.
What do you mean?
Well, for the last 10 years we've been in a very much long hair area where long hair has been king. And what was amazing to see on the professional models was that these beautiful little haircuts were back. And it makes us hairdressers think out of the box, because we have to think about how we're going to create a shape with it, how we're going to manage it, how we're going to use on it. You know, it's not just about running a 230-degree hot iron through it to make it look okay. And Charlotte's here is another example, because this is individual. This is how her hair is, and it's totally unique. It's not just generic and flat. As I would say, it's not clone-like. You know, there's texture and there's movement in it. And you know, 10 years ago, we discovered straightening irons and we hid behind it for that time. But actually, a straightening iron can sometimes make us look like an army of soldiers and not individuals. So to answer Katie's question, what did I find that was emerging from the shows this season? It was, without question, about haircuts being more in the eye of fashion. Very short, like skinheads with sideboards, little bobs with fringes, with curly, scruffy texture, real sort of halos, which is a round shape. And these were on girls that are going to be photographed and in British Vogue all around the world. So whether we like it, guys, or not right now, it's going to be happening next summer, whether you like it or not.
So the girls came to you with pre-cut hair?
Yeah.
So you didn't cut any hair when you were done?
No. They come with the look, and then we had to recreate the inspiration from the designer on the girls with the short hair. So 90's CK1 cool texture, we had to recreate that on like mid-length haircuts and curly haircuts. And did we recreate it as well? It was fabulous. And it's just really nice to see this innocent British fashion. How are we doing for questions? Has anyone else got a question before I show some more hair? I'll show some more hair now.
Leah says thank you.
Oh, that's just
Afro products are far too harsh on her hair, so anything lighter works.
Yes. Moisture. With a little bit more moisture. So should we ask Ashley to pop over, Katie?
Yes.
So this is a model that I have done my own interpretation of a look on, and it's slightly more, it's more of an updo. It's slightly more princessy, and it was really an opportunity to be slightly more princessy. And the ponytail has got a little bit of lift in the front, just a slight little bit of a bump, so it's not flat. And there's some movement here in the nape, in the ponytail, and yeah, no, it just allows us to really play with the hair in kind of quite a cool way. And the ribbon is Katie's, and I've cut it. And I think she hates me now. Well, she hated me before, but she really hates me now. So yeah, and I actually quite like these little ends. Do you know what those ends are? This belongs to you now, Katie, because I've cut it because the ribbon's yours.
I have to start wearing it in my hair.
Yeah, and it's just like a little kind of princess knot, which is a bit of a kind of hybrid of one of the looks that I was lucky enough to be part of. And it's just like more like a tie. Want to come and etch it from here, please?
I'm ready.
So how did I do it? It's two ponytails. Two ponytails. There's one at the front, one at the back, and the back gives all the shape, and the front allowed me to back comb all of this to give it some depth, and then clasped it back quite nicely. It just gives us a bit more height in the look, so when you look at Ashley in the mirror, you can see that it just gives that higher part. It just makes it look a bit more elegant and slightly stronger. What do you think, viewers? Ashley and I are seriously thinking about chopping up some dead bodies, because that's what she does for a living at the local DGRI. In fact, she said she's seen me on the bed once and she poked me.
You came back to life?
I came back to life. Something about a charge that I'll always be in her debt for the rest of her life. So can we ask both the girls to stand up here, please, against the lovely air conditioning sign, just so we can get a kind of feel for both of them. Use my lash. Perfect, girls. Now, if you do look that way, are you a fan of that ribbon, Katie?
Yeah, lovely.
So if you just stay there for a minute, guys. Any more questions? Yeah, there is. So one of the questions was, is there any trends for people with that are lazy and that don't want to do anything to their hair? This one.
Great. So how can I achieve that?
Really easy. This was just wet down with water and a little bit of foundation spray, which is moisture, and then it's just pushed behind the ear, but with this coming forward. You know, what we tend to do is we do that with the hair, which gives us this big cowlick, and it's not about that. It's about trying to keep that coming down and flat and more pushed in and a bit more, as Samantha Hillerby said, a bit more graphic and slightly more 90s. And literally, you could do that, Katie. Go around the house running after your little girl, make porridge, ping it in the air, and yeah, do whatever it is you do, then take it out when you get to the salon, and what you get is that. And actually, just to inject the texture, if you were to use foundation spray or something like water, what happens is the hair becomes its own texture. It stops being generic, which is what we want to try and avoid this coming season, and start becoming a bit more original and a bit more real. Because whether we like it or not, we're going to be wearing it on our heads. It's coming, whether we like it or not. Any more questions?
That's mine.
Is that it? Well, listen, thank you to the gorgeous Charlotte and the lovely Ashley, who's not really chopped me up. So you're going to have your hair cut off, Ash?
Am I going to have my hair cut off?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
Because you know, I've never asked you that question,
No.
but I've got a funny feeling you're going to ask me to do that to you.
I've been thinking about it, but...
I'm just guessing, because we've never had the conversation, have we? But I've got a feeling that's what you're thinking.
I've been thinking about it.
Obviously, I don't want to do it.
I know.
Well, no, I mean, if you asked me to, I would. But I've got a funny feeling that's what you're thinking. Am I thinking what you're
Maybe, you
thinking?
might be thinking what I'm thinking.
Because it's about being unique, and Ashley's got an individual kind of look. So when she's wearing her in her normal clothing, I think that look could be quite cool. Anyway, that's me done. This next Friday, I won't be here. Where am I? I'm in Paris at the shows there, so I'm so privileged to be there. I might do a wee FaceTiming live from over there. We'll see how much time I've got and what I'm doing. But thank you to Kerry Bell for being the camera moment extraordinaire. And
For our 10th broadcast.
10th. And for Katie, and I'm really sorry about the ribbon. Bye.